IC. I'm here talking to Sean Adams. Sean, if you could give us a quick introduction of yourself and what you're up to.
Hello, I'm Sean Adams. I run drownandsound.com, Drown and Sound Recordings, and I started Drown and Sound 10 years ago as basically a blog before blogs existed, and it's grown into a big community and music editorial site. When I started, there was nothing. So I didn't know about Pitchfork, but apparently that had existed for a little while. I actually started doing an email kind of fanzine, which was kind of like pop bitch, I guess is the closest analogy, which was lots of people that were running fanzines at the time have said it was a bit weird how I was doing it online and not in print, how I wasn't chopping things up and photocopying, which was kind of against fanzine culture because I was being lazy. So I guess there wasn't really much around. Like, some people had live journals, I think, at the time, and no one was really writing about music. I was talking to people on message boards of certain bands, but there was no one place to talk about music. There was always a music bit, like there still is on every band's message board. So part of the idea was to do that, and the other part was to do the fanzine blog. It's now a much easier way of understanding it, but there was no technology to do that. So things have evolved a great deal.
Sure. Have you found that bands are utilising your platform as well to do their own promotion?
Bands do, but I don't think really people can promote themselves through the site, because anything that's too blatantly promotion, people just they don't like it. They don't like it being pushed into their world. People will find a user they like and discover they're in a band. With Los Campesinos, that happened. They kind of was one of the regulars or 2 or 3 of the regulars on the board were band members, and they said, "Oh, we're playing the Water Rats tonight," and I think about 200 message boarders turned up to watch them play. And I guess that's kind of promotion, but in a we get who you are, you get who we are kind of way. Like, there's a lot of bands that formed through our site. Like, our musicians board led to the Mystery Jets finding their bass player, Block Party finding their drummer. I think Editors found one of their band members through the site as well. And so I guess, like, bands have been involved in the site, but the editorial is more what picks the bands that we cover. So knowing that maybe one of our message boarders is in a band and we listen to them and they're not shit means they can get covered in the editorial.
Sure. I read in one of your recent columns for the Sunday Times, which was focusing on the proliferation of tools that are out there to enable DIY musicians, I guess, basically, to get out there and promote themselves. I wonder how you feel that's affecting the physical distribution, the indie shops. Do you think it's complementary? Do you think it's kind of it goes in competition against?
I don't think the artists are affecting the indie stores. I think consumers to a much greater deal. But I also think the fact that, like, I personally worked in an indie store when I was 16 in a small town in Dorset, and it was the only indie store in town, and we were priced out of the market and the shop closed because of kind of supermarkets and because of there's not really indie stores in most small towns like there used to be. In fact, one of the only record stores in my local area where I grew up is a shop which PJ Harvey is basically a patron of, and that's how they've managed to stay open. Like, rough trade exists and it's grown and developed because people have to come into the city to buy records a lot of the time. But I think Amazon's done much more damage to independent record stores than any individual artist selling their stuff directly to fans.
Sure.
And a lot of artists still use rough trade to sell direct to the fans as well.
And how do you feel about the proliferation of MP3 blogs and file sharing, BitTorrent sites, etc.?
I feel mixed about it because I wouldn't have started doing what I did without sitting on Napster all day every day when it launched, to the point that like, I met a bunch of people that write through the site through Napster and through different kind of file sharing entities. I'm also not that sure about MP3 blogs really having the reach and causing the damage people think they do. I think the Pirate Bay blogs that post entire albums is very different to blogs posting 1 or 2 songs. The problem is no one's getting paid royalties from any of the blogs. So artists can be massive and be making no money, I interviewed Uffy recently, and it was very interesting talking to her about the number of MySpace fans she has, the number of blogs that are posted about her, and the reality of, well, because of this fame, I can do shows for fashion companies and in stores and branding things, but I can't really expect to sell records like I would do if with the kind of reach that I have. So the idea of blogs being promotion that then leads to record sales is a bit of a fallacy. But then there are examples of bands that have sold a lot of records, and like I think Just These sold nearly 500,000 worldwide, which is a lot bigger number than you'd expect for a band which you can download their album in about 3 seconds Googling for it. So in terms of going forwards, I think artists of any real quality are going to struggle even more, but the few people that will be involved with music won't necessarily be involved for monetarily gaining from it. I still think that we'll move into a model that's more like art galleries, where people are funding space and funding the releases, and you see the branding as you walk in, and that's about it. I think that that's a huge seismic shift from where we are right now, and it will take a few more major labels falling by the wayside until there is a business model there that will make sense. I think the Dandy Warhols were very interesting when I spoke to them about the Vodafone deal they did, and how they've managed to fund pretty much their career off the back of one advert, which is kind of the same as being a one-hit wonder. It's sort of the same as being Presidents USA or something, or OK Go, I guess, in a way. It's like that one-hit thing then allows you to do a whole bunch of other things.